back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another installment of my debt diary series. I actually had sat down and filmed this a few days ago, but I did not like the footage in it. And since I was already filming a video for my makeup look, I decided to just sit down and talk to you guys about this as well. So this video is going to cover both of the months of July and August. The video that I filmed previously was only going to cover the month of July, but now it is the end of July and August is here, so I might as well just do both of them. Okay, so with the month of July, which is this month, we have paid off the remainder of the air conditioning unit, or whatever you want to call it, some piece of something we purchased, and we owed a little bit of money on it, and we did pay that off. So that's one good thing that we did this month. However, we did not pay anything else additional. We should have. We had the money that came in, but we did not spend it the way we should have, so we did not pay anything else off. We also put a lot of money in our savings in the month of June. I think it was the month of June, like the end of June, 1st of July, that we didn't expect to be able to do. We have since spent that money in our savings, not because we blew it, but because we wanted to pay for my sister's transmission to get it fixed, and then we were also willing to let someone borrow some of that money as well. So I have a question of topic for you guys for this video to comment on and talk about. But before I get to that, I'm going to continue with our progress. That's pretty much all we did for the month of July. We didn't pay anything extra off. We had money in our savings, but it's gone now. And we paid off the remainder of that like air conditioner unit thing. And so we had some good and we had some bad. We could have had a lot better, but we did not spend our money. We just, spent our money the way we wanted to spend it, not the way we should have. So we didn't do anything productive with that money, unfortunately. What was projected for the month of July, I believe, was to pay off as much as possible, just like always, but we did not do it, so we did fail there. Before I close out the topic of July, I'm going to go ahead and ask you the question that I had on my mind. And so the question was basically, if you are still trying to get out of debt yourselves, or still trying to pay anything off, or you're still not really feeling like you're financially secure yet, do you feel comfortable letting someone borrow money? That can be family, it can be friends, it can be anybody, it can be a small amount, large amount, anything. Do you feel comfortable letting people borrow money when you don't feel like you don't really have your finances together enough to really even allow someone to borrow money? I think my husband and I differ on this opinion, and I was just wondering what some of you guys think. For those of you who might be some more hardcore Dave Ramsey fans than I am, might even know his answer to that question, you can leave that below if you would like. I'd be interested in hearing it. And that is going to be my topic of discussion for this video, because I was very curious to see how other people feel about that. If they still feel generous in letting people borrow money, or if they feel a little bit more restricted because they are a little bit more limited when you are trying to pay off debt like that. So now we move on to some more embarrassing things, and that is going to be the month of August. I have not figured our bills yet, so I don't know what kind of income we're projected to have. Well, not income, but what kind of extra income we're projected to have. I do have something to tell you guys. The point of doing a debt payoff like this is to stop credit card usage and to stop borrowing money. However, our method doesn't really work that way. There are long periods of time where we will not spend any additional money on a credit card, or will not take out any more credit cards, or will not borrow any money because we know better than to do that, and that's just how we feel. It's not something that we have to make ourselves do. It's something that we already feel in our hearts, and we just don't do it. However, there are some instances where we have borrowed money regardless, and it's never been a negative outcome besides the fact that we may owe a little bit more than we started with. But it's never set us back so far that it's really hurt us. So we continue to just, if we see fit to borrow money, we will. If it's more of a, I feel like every reason to borrow money is stupid because it's all for materialistic purposes. As long as you have food, water, clothing, you're okay. But some reasons can be more justified than others. So we wouldn't necessarily open up a credit card to go on a shopping spree for clothes if we don't need clothes. but we might open up a credit card, or we'll start a new loan balance if we come across something that we feel is necessary for our particular family. Not that it's a necessary thing for anyone at any time, but we just find it necessary for ourselves at that time. So one of the things that we did was we are trying to replace our back steps. Since we moved in, we have had like 5 wooden steps that go down from the house to the ground, and they've been rotting since before we moved in, but they have gotten a lot worse in the last few months, in the last year that we've lived here. So it has always been our goal to replace them. However, we did have a dream to build a nice, beautiful deck outside. So instead of just replacing the steps, which is what we should have done, which is what we should do, we decided to go ahead and start work on our entire deck. We have in mind to create a deck that really starts at one end of the house and reaches to the other end. So you can imagine that's a pretty large deck. Of course, it'll be very beautiful once it's completed. And of course, it's not absolutely necessary right now, but it is something that we chose to do ourselves. So we thought we had a credit card that was open that we were going to actually use for it, but it wasn't. It had actually closed out all by itself, so we reopened that card and bought the materials that we needed. Now, yes, I understand that that is borrowing money when we were trying to pay off debt. Yes, I understand that that's not the way you pay off debt. That is really our method. I can't tell people that it's okay to borrow money while you're paying off debt. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to take steps forward, but you take steps backward instead. However, we sort of come to agreements like that as we hit bumps in the road, you know, throughout our debt paying off. We're not going to solely stick to paying off debt for a solid 3 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years, because it's really hard and it's really not very fun. So that is our way of kind of keeping a little bit of fun in it as well. And although the size of the deck is not necessary right now, a deck would be necessary in the future, because we do want to replace those steps. And I mean, it should be our prerogative to build any size deck that we want. If we want a large one, that should be okay. If we would rather have a small one, that should be okay. So we do spend money between like point A to point B of trying to pay off debt. And I do want you guys to understand that. I think that's just our personal method, and that's what works for us. But I want you to also understand that if that's something that works for you, I do think that's okay. I think it's mostly important to remember the goal. And as long as you're making small steps towards that goal, I think that's okay. As long as you have as much determination in between point A and point B as you do starting out at point A. I think that's important. That's not something that anybody would recommend to you. If you're paying off debt, it's probably definitely not something Dave Ramsey would recommend for you to do. And it's really not the wisest thing to do. But I think it kind of helps us keep our sanity throughout the process. Otherwise, we would literally just sit here. I mean, there's so many ways that we could save money that we don't do. We could live off of rice and beans for 2 years, but we choose not to. We want to buy groceries. We want to have snacks in our house. So I feel like in any aspect, you can find ways to save money and ways to waste money. And I think that's just how we cope, I guess, with paying off debt, is we will find ways to spend money that are necessary. If they are necessary, we'll decide if they are. And then if they're not, we'll kind of try to hold off on that and not do it right away. So I did want to make that point to you. So for the month of August, we will be probably paying a little bit more on that Lowe's credit card than the minimum payment, simply because we didn't have enough credit card space to purchase all of the materials we needed. We built about half of the deck, and we're going to probably come back and complete the rest of it later. So I think our goal is to try to pay off that card as quickly as possible and then go back and build the rest of the deck while paying off other things as well. It will not just be deck until, you know, for the next 2 years. So we have been spending a lot more money lately than we should have. My husband got his last paycheck at the very last of this month, July, and we did not do anything productive with it. We spent it all. And we also got our rent check, what we call is our rent check, for our house in Virginia, which is to pay our mortgage at the beginning of August. We have spent most of that as well. And that's something we have never done before. We have an extra $300 that comes in off of that check as sort of profit, and we have spent that before. That's not something that's not normal for us. That's not something abnormal for us to do, but we have spent beyond that this time. So I think because we have been doing so much spending in the last few weeks, we are going to be a little bit more conscientious of how we spend for the month of August. And I do think that we will tighten up a little bit more this month, pay something off or put something in the savings account, and I think that would be good for us. So I will be back next month to let you know how the month of August works out. As of right now, we don't have any definite plans, except I think we both have a mutual plan to work towards paying off debt rather than not work towards it. So we will be doing something with any extra income that we have. I'm not sure how much expendable income we will have, so I'm not even sure if that's a possibility yet, but that will be our goal throughout the month if we do have that expendable income. So that is going to wrap up my debt video for the months of July and August. And please comment below any suggestions that you have, or you can comment below any tips that you might have to help us out. I hope that this video encourages you and reminds you that not everyone is perfect. I hear so many stories on the Dave Ramsey show that talk about how couple after couple begins their debt payoff and they stick to it from the beginning to the end, and they're debt free in the smallest amounts of time. And I know that some of those stories seem so unattainable to some of us. So I just kind of want to be a reminder that you can do it differently, I think, so long as you stick to the same goal. And I also want these videos of mine to remind you that people do fail, and that's okay. You can pick back up where you left off and keep going. So please comment below and let me know if these videos are encouraging you to any extent, or if they are discouraging you. I hope that we can all continue to support each other and learn from one another. And I will see you guys next month for an August update and for a projection of the month of September. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.